Y'all already know. Welcome back to another episode of the Growth Power Success Podcast. Y'all already know we back in the building, the usual suspects. Briefcase Tony was happening, boy.
How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great. How you feeling?
Good. I'm good.
Spider, how you feeling?
Cooling, man.
Barry G was happening.
Good day.
Let's get into it, fellas. Carmelo Anthony, young kid, I believe out in Texas.
Frisco.
Yep. Frisco, Texas to be exact, was getting jumped, or I guess being attacked by two white kids.
Mm-hmm.
And in self-defense, he murdered one of them.
Yep.
I'd be a proud dad, man. Stop fucking playing with me, man. Keep your hands off me, bro. Keep your hands off me.
Nah,
and
for
then
sure.
it's 2v1. So it's like he really won. And it's really like he had to do what he had to do, you know? Most people, or a lot of people might say, you know, he had to kill him, but it's like, nigga, what you gonna do in a situation with two people attacking you, bro?
I had a 2v1 in fifth grade.
You can black out easy, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You just reminded me I had a 2v1.
Good job, kid.
Definitely a good job. One,
Good
he stood up
job.
for himself, defending himself, and he went to the extreme.
For sure.
It just is what it is. I had a 2v1 in fifth grade where these niggas caught themselves trying to jump me. I whooped both of them. Yeah. A lot changed after that, nigga. When I went back to school the next day, a lot changed, boy. 2v1, whooped them. It was after school, walking home. And then it was a black boy, white boy. I ain't even gonna say no names. But however, later on, they caught, truce. They wanted to be cool, whatever. But I could never be good friends with them. Maybe it's because, the fact that it was 2v1. But I guess it's one of those situations where it's like, all right, cool. Because one of them ended up being my high school teammate on the football team. But it was still like, nah, we're not best of buddies. I mean, I'm not mad at it because y'all lost. But it just is what it is. But nah, back to the actual story. What you got on that? What you got about that, Bar?
Shoot, honestly, really like what really transpired for sure. My life is lost, for one. Him having a weapon, that's the only thing I feel like he's going to get a little pushback from, because he was at a track meet. That's kind of like carrying a weapon.
It was a knife? What was it?
What was the weapon? Yeah.
It was a knife?
It was a knife. He stabbed him to death.
Okay.
So,
I mean, certain pocket knives are, maybe because it's at a school.
Track, it's at a track
school
meet.
grounds.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. So, but I think what makes this case so big is because it plays a race card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
White sure, because if it was black on black, it probably wouldn't.
So obviously, you know who we rooting for, of course. Like you said, it's a 2v1. So he had to do what he had to do in self-defense. But is the jury gonna see it in that way? Look, he is in Texas. Let's be real. Frisco, to be exact.
I think that there's a possibility that he was threatened. So if you get threatened, how do you leave the house?
True.
You know what I'm saying? So you might have received early threats that day, the day before. Oh, we're gonna catch you at the meet. Like
the lawyer.
But a part of me,
lawyer is saying, my bad.
No, you good.
But the lawyer from the defense team saying that they didn't know each other. So that's where I'm trying to figure out what really transpired. If they had no connection prior to the track meet. And that's the only thing that I got a big question mark about, really.
Okay. I mean, a part of me hopes that he wasn't threatened prior, because then if that's the case, they might use that against him and say, why didn't you reach out to the local authorities or the teachers or whatever the case may be. I think it works more in his favor if it was one of those spur of the moment type of situations.
Yeah, right.
So at that moment, they can only charge him for having that weapon on school grounds as opposed to premeditated murder.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, you almost... Well, like you might
right,
try to solve the case.
Hey, man.
Law and order over here.
You know what I mean? Law and order.
What you got you watching Law and Order?
What you got on it, Brief? What you think about it?
I think I'm missing some information, so I don't want to speak too much on it. But I do know it's a double standard in this country. For some reason, we're not allowed to protect ourselves. Black people, we not allowed to stand our ground. It's always a problem when we stand our grounds. So I'm gonna look more into this.
So how do we fix that?
I don't know if it can be fixed, bro. But I don't know if it can be fixed. But I know one thing. I never got jumped before, but if I did, I wish I had a knife. I'm getting busy. I mean, think about it. Somebody can stump you out to death, bro. The guy knock you out, they can stand over you, kick you in your head until you're in a coma. So, I mean, I don't know the specifics on it, but I know it's very biased because if it was reversed, it'd probably be a war going on right now.
Nah, for sure.
So, yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that.
Yeah, but it's scary though. You know, we talking about kids right now. You know, you guys got children, so it's like, what if, not to say, but your kids gonna get older.
Right.
They might come across somebody that's living that type of lifestyle where they want to bully, things in that nature to make themselves feel good, and your kid has to defend themselves. You're gonna like Spider said, you're gonna want the same thing. Like the results gonna be the results. I want my kid to protect
Yeah,
themselves.
Yeah, you gotta
Well,
teach your kids how to fight too, bro. You
one
gotta
of my elders
get them in
say-
some
Self-defense classes.
self-defense classes, bro.
he always reminds me to say to my kids that the only person that can keep you alive is yourself. You feel me? And so to kind of base your decision making off knowing the fact that if you die, it's not always everybody's fault. You know what I'm saying? But you could save yourself from death, if you got the right tools in a lot of situations. You feel me? I feel like I done ducked death a few times just
Right.
by just being smart,
Yeah.
not having to, whatever.
That's a fact.
Do you think the world is a safer place for kids nowadays as opposed to how we were growing up, or was it more dangerous in our era?
It's more dangerous now, bro.
I think.
Yeah.
That's a good question, because I think it's interesting that there's a lot of gang violence and a lot of violence in general being publicized and broadcasted and turned into music. But I also feel like there's a whole on the other side of that. There's so many more people who are just in the house, on the internet, or streaming, or watching streams, or you know what I'm saying. So I really think media is really the media is what determines how we feel everything is projecting. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah,
feel like
I
media
hear
got
you.
so much control of shit
Yeah.
that it's like, cause now we dealing with, fentanyl and it being in the perks and it being on some of the weed and it being on the woo woo, and they claim it's such a big drug situation going on right now. But it's like at the same time, like I feel like it might have been worse before, and there
Right.
wasn't as much media to cover this shit.
That's how I feel.
You know what I'm saying?
It was worse back then.
Because
to me.
like
Yeah, like crack
just like
epidemic.
What?
just like violence is being broadcasted and promoted and is all over Instagram and all over the music, you got a whole nother like information on health and how to live a better life or how to structure your life. Or it's so much information. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really
Yeah.
a lot, and I meet more people who are regular Americans than I meet who are a gangster, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever they might label us to be. I know way more normal people, bro, who just go to work and don't wish harm on nobody, and you know what I'm saying. Like when you think about it, though,
Do you think environment has anything to do with that?
I mean, yeah, it does, of course, and I think that camaraderie is addictive. I think that when we come together as groups of men, the ladies call it bromance, but it's like nobody could get us more hyped than ourselves. Even when we compete with each other, when we fight with each other, when we smoke and drink with each other, and we talk shit to each other, it's empowering. And the more people show up as part of that group, the more empowered you feel. The more you feel like you can't be fucked with for real.
It's a
And
fact.
it's a natural feeling. It's a rush.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
cause
saying?
yeah, cause all that
Like,
testosterone is
how many
being
of these? How many
pushed.
people are likely to do something more aggressive when they got 20, 30, 40 people surrounding them that love them and fuck with them? You know what I'm saying? They're more
Yeah.
likely to feel macho at any moment. Catch that same person at the corner store, in the chip aisle, and see if they got that same energy. You know, it's camaraderie does this shit to us for real. And I think it's something we need to pay attention to because it's not a bad thing. We just need to channel the energy. Feel me?
Yeah, that's a fact. I don't know. I think with the youth, I think it's worse than it's ever been. Uh just looking at the numbers, I man, this shit wild out here, bro. They run around with switches, they slapping grandma now.
They're shooting up
They're
churches.
shooting up churches, funerals. I've never seen this type of warfare
Nah,
going
funerals
on.
used to get shot up back in the days, depending on how the person died, but
You
not
know,
to the magnitude of how it is,
but
how
I
it's
think
happening nowadays.
I believe a sad truth we have to realize once a kid get a certain age, his friends has more influence on him than his parents. That's just a fact.
But it's always been like that.
Exactly.
It's
That's
always
true,
been
that's
like that.
So, in this hip hop gang culture, with the music that influence and put the battery in these kids' back. When I see a kid, I say, "Good day, brother. I'm out the way." I stay out their way, bro. I don't want no problems, man. I hold a dope for them and everything. I don't no problems.
Yeah, I
Nah,
think
hip hop has a major influence on that.
Oh,
no,
a
it
big
does.
influence, bro.
And so does just not being able to channel your emotions and being like a lot of us. I mean, I'm not in my 20s anymore or my teens, but it's a lot of emotional trauma involved, and this is a lot of reactive behavior. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like anytime I've ever done anything terrible, it's reactive behavior based off how something made me feel. So
yeah,
I think we definitely gotta like. It's a way to talk to them, like that good day, brother. I don't knock it because I understand it's like they're much more willing to push to push what's the word I'm looking for, to push
Influence.
forward with action or with unnecessary energy. So I get what you're saying, but with me, just as a comparison, I think there's just a way to talk to them. Like I understand them, you feel me? But it's also because, as you know, cause we talk a lot, and when we get in the car, I throw on mad music from niggas you don't even know and shit like that. It's like I'm in the loop, so I get it to the highest extent. Like nobody in here listen to Playboy Cardi or Ken Carson, or you know what I'm saying, like or One Up T or Babyface E, or y'all ain't listening to them. I am. You feel me? And I think that's the way to kind of understand. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying like I know how to communicate with them, and I feel like that's not.
So I don't know if you know I mentor kids, right?
Huh?
You know I mentor kids at North Miami High School.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'll tell you a little more later about it, but I be around these kids, bro. I see what's really impacting them. Lifestyle, bro.
Yeah,
Lifestyle and gang culture, bro. You got to really put them under your wings if you really want them to go right, bro. They need a real man in their ear, bro.
Yeah, and give them actionable, real steps. Don't say, son, you gotta do something better. Nah, bro. Look, I got a few options, bro. You want to get some bread? It's gonna take a little bit. You feel me? It might take a few months to get this certification. It might take a year to get your clients up. It might take 4 months to get your credit score up. But the LLC 125, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
and that's some good
but
game.
you just give them
That's some good
actionable
game.
steps because it's like, bro, all right, I get it, bro. You want the chain. You could get that chain on credit. You ain't gotta go and do some shit stupid to get the chain. You get the chain on credit and pay on that bitch every month. And go to work or build your business.
Yeah.
Like if you want it that bad, you're young. You can do it.
I think this goes back to what we had discussed a while back on the pod, that they should start or should bring back trades into the schools.
Yeah,
because when you're trying to tell a kid you gotta graduate high school, 4 years of college, potentially if you're going for your bachelor's or master, not bachelor, I'm sorry, your master's or your PhD. Now that's more schooling. School's not for everyone. You get what I'm saying? So now if you bring back these trades, now you can fast track whatever it is that he wants in life. Because let's be honest, the people who have the trades throughout society are really the ones that are winning, because you're able to act on it and move and begin working in that space much sooner than someone who becomes a doctor,
You're
a
the
lawyer,
safest. You have
engineer.
one of
And
the
on top of
safest
that, you
employment.
avoided the whole student loan aspect of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now when
Exactly.
you do get in these careers or professions, yeah, you're bringing in 150, 200, but now you have 400,000, $500,000, $1 million worth of student loans. So by the time you really, really finish paying that off, did you really have a better lifestyle? Or did you live a better life than the individual who went and got a trade right out of high school, who's bringing in 150, 200 out the gate? That's probably a plumber. That's probably an electrician. That's probably a master barber, whatever the case may be. Because once you're licensed, you become professional in that space, sky's the limit.
Yeah,
Like I was reading something where it's saying like there's a shortage of over 500,000. I think you sent that to me.
Plumbers and electricians.
Plumbers and electrician that's
Mhm.
needed.
Hey,
Like
I
you get
it.
into that space, you can damn near dictate the market because it's such at a high demand that you can set your rates and there's no real competition because you're one of the few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some
And you
change.
can live that lifestyle, go get that chain, go get that
But
whip, go get that
also,
crib and do all
everyone's-
of that without having to go to the traditional route of 4 to 8, potentially 12 years of education or school.
Yeah. No, that's facts.
But
And
it
I-
takes work, and these
think-
kids don't like to work. That's the thing.
I don't
But
think they don't
I
like
don't-
to work. I think they just haven't been guided or had that arm wrapped around them, not to baby them. You don't baby them because that's going to hinder
But
them
that's what
and
it
make it
is
worse.
now, though.
But if you actually guide them, and like Spider said, and not just say, go to school, go do this, and actually guide them, like, look, what do you ultimately want out of life right now, although you're young? They're like, okay, I want to have a nice house, nice car, kids, no kids, whatever the case may be. You tell them, okay, look, here are some of the steps that you could take to get there. Now I'm going to present you 2 to 3 options. Which one you feel like best suits you?
But
You
like,
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If
It's
they
not a
want to
lot
go
of
to school the
kids like
traditional
that,
route,
though.
no
Yeah,
problem.
that's the way to do it.
You
'Cause
get what I'm saying? If you want to go
it's good.
career
everyone's
route,
a hard worker,
no
bro.
Yeah,
problem.
that's what I'm saying.
That's-
But majority of them now, it's really hard for them to focus.
It's hard to focus
Like,
because
they
it's
really, like you said, like the environment, like
Yeah.
the people, they peers. You gotta understand that they really are influenced by their peers.
yeah, for sure. And
Way
of course,
different than how we was. We was like, we had our own identity. Even though I can hang with you, I'm still gonna be Barry. You get what I'm saying? Briefcase. You still gonna be Briefcase.
but it was easier for us though because we didn't have access to all this information, access to just like think about it back then, right? A lot of stuff when we were growing up was regional. So it was marginalized, like even down to fashion. We could spot someone else from out of town just by the way they dressed. Now with social media
Yeah.
and access to so much information or to the world, everything is
Yeah.
connected. People don't even know where you're from based on your appearance anymore because we're all pretty much connected, intertwined. So you got to, at the same time, it's the information and the access to so much different resources is also what's causing that as well.
But is that gonna stop?
I mean, I don't think it's going to stop,
So
but it goes back to
that's
what we
what
were
I'm saying.
saying.
The kids gonna be who they are now. It's
Not
a different.
necessarily. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say they're going to be who they are.
I'm gonna take you to come talk to some of these kids, and you talk.
I'm not
to
saying
them.
you can save all.
I'm telling you, you might be lucky to get point like not even one kid. That's what I'm trying to say. Like if you could get a group of 20 kids, I'm telling you, the way it is now, listening is not a skill no more for these kids. I was just telling you about that when it came to football, something that they love. They talk about it all day, but that doesn't mean that they are willing to learn the game
And do what it takes.
do what it really takes. They want everything that comes after
You're right.
working. They don't know the true, I would say, passion, dedication, what it took. Like
That's why only a few make it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like just think about what like we were just talking about earlier with the kid, with the mental health situation.
Yeah.
You guys think about why that kid did what he did.
I think in his situation, and his name is Kyron Lacey, right?
Yeah, Kyron Lacey.
Rest in peace to Kyron Lacey.
What happened? I don't
He
know.
took his life because
Oh, yeah, the
not too
football
long-
player.
Yeah, the football player. He took his life because he had a court hearing that was coming up because he had a reckless endangerment driving
Yeah,
where he
yeah.
took somebody else's life.
He caused an accident.
And they're
something
saying,
like
of course, he don't want to deal with the consequences and repercussion that's coming from that. But that's almost like an anomaly because he actually was battling something where he took someone else's life. So it can be what they're saying, and it can also be the fact that he can't live with himself, being that he took someone's life without actually having any personal issues with them. Like it wasn't planned, it wasn't premeditated. It was a spirit of moment, and he probably was like, "Damn, how am I gonna be able to live with myself if I just took someone's life? Then I got to still face trial, all this stuff that's coming along with it." So it could be a lot more that's going on with that, just based off as far as his psyche. But however, I think it all goes back to just go back to what we were discussing. I think it
Yeah.
all goes back to exposure. This is where I guess the social media, this the curse side to it, because it could be a gift and a curse depending on what you use it for. Where all that exposure, then the kids are just able to see like the highlights. Think about it. Everything that you see on social media is all highlights. There's no low lights. People don't even show you their process, grinding, growing, getting to where they got to. They just show you, I'm here. You get what I'm saying? So I think that has a lot to do with it too, because the grind, the process of them actually getting there was never exposed. So they're just thinking like, shit, fuck it, I'm just wake up one day and be there too. But that's not reality. That's not how it goes. You got to put that work in. You got to grind. But it still goes back to mentoring, leadership, having the right male figure in these kids' life early on. You got to catch it as early as possible. Because once they start becoming teenagers, now they start forming their own opinions. They start forming their minds start forming into who they want to become. And it may not be grinding no more. It may just be fast track because all these years that was in between leading up to the moment whenever I guess they got to the point where they're about to make up their mind, that presence, that leadership, or that guidance wasn't there at that moment.
Yeah. But a lot of these kids, they grow up with their parents and their parents baby them. Fathers, mothers, it doesn't matter now. They listen to what they want to listen to. And sometimes they like the negativity part more than the positive. Because
Yeah.
sometimes the positive ain't always pretty. It's
Right.
always, it's really hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard, but it's fair. And what these kids go through nowadays is that giving up is something that's normal now. We was taught not to give up on things,
Yeah, it kind of goes back to
but
the
they
whole
give up so quickly now. It's like, for example, like I said with the coaching. Oh, coach don't play me. Guess what I'm gonna do? Transfer.
I
Just
mean,
because.
you don't. Yeah,
I mean,
I ain't gonna lie.
at
Coach
the-
don't play me. I'm out of there too, boy.
Yeah.
And guess what happened when you
I
go
ain't
to the
gonna
other
lie to
school?
you, boy.
What happened? You know what
but
happens
you
when you
get
go
to the other school and they don't play you. Now it's no longer the coach.
It's no longer the coach. That's what's
See,
really
sometimes you
going
got to
on.
stand in the paint and grind it out. Remember, bro, the person we consider to be the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, the man didn't make varsity until his junior year. He was JV his sophomore year and maybe even did JV his junior year. Don't quote me on that. But he went back in the lab, grinded it out. Now, look, if he would have transferred and quit, Jordan's the standard. Peace got on Jays right now. We would have never seen those.
I think it's a lot. I think coaches is tricky, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Nah,
Because it's
But I
like,
feel you.
Nah, but it
Yeah.
has to be the right coaches because I played.
coaches are gatekeep too, though, bro.
They always
You know what I'm
gatekeep.
saying?
Always,
Yeah.
especially when it gets to the when recruiting starts to happen, like when colleges come in and try to recruit certain players, coaches would gatekeep, and also when the NFL comes in and players about to transition to the NFL, right? Coaches gatekeep then. You know, the coach tongue or based on what he says can be the difference from you going first, second round, or third round, or potentially even getting a scholarship offer from a school.
just like a business.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just like if you
Because the
working
first
for a
thing they do, they
business,
ask
though.
the coach, what's his character? What's his is he a team player? Does he consider others?
That's how you get into college. You have to when you go to
Yeah.
college, just to
Your
get into
coach got to
college,
sign off on
you
that.
got not even the coach, the school.
And, yeah.
They come and talk to the school. You got to have a recommendation to
Yeah.
get into college. So what you think that comes from? That comes from somebody seeing your work ethic. Is it good or is it bad? Are you a
Yeah.
hard worker or are you not? Do they like to take time off? Do they like to make excuses for themselves? These kids have excuses now for
Yeah.
everything in their life. And that's what I'm just trying to let y'all understand is that that's where we at in life right now when it comes to these children. Because they know how to respond with an excuse.
Right.
And that's what we dealing with. I'm not saying all of them like that, but if you, like I said, just from teaching, coaching right now, that's what I'm getting. talking back. Like you said, they slapped the grandma. These kids are talking back to the elders. And it's like for real. Like, let an old person say, "Hey, pull your pants up."
Let me
Pull that
ask you
stick
this.
out
real-
on
Let me
grandma.
It's
let, let me
interesting,
ask you
though.
this real quick. Let me ask you this real
Yeah.
quick, Bar. Since you actually operate in that space, Spider, don't forget what you was about to say.
Mhm.
Does that go back to parenting from your perspective, based on the kids that you're dealing with as far as the behavior? Because back then, when it was our era, the parents allowed the coaches to coach us hard, and of course, certain lines you don't cross.
Mhm.
But however, does that go back to the parents and I guess not being tough enough on the kids and allowing the coaches to coach them to develop them into young men or young women or young professionals?
I don't.
What do you think is the root of the problem, if you had to take a guess?
It's a little bit of parenting for sure,
Okay.
but also at some point you grow up to be your own person. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you grew up parenting, but you did things that you ain't proud of. You could say that wasn't parenting, but you still did it,
No,
even though you
absolutely.
had the right. You know what I'm saying? You still
Yeah.
had parenting. So it's like we all make our own decisions. It's some things that we not proud of what we did. That's just like growing up. We all grew up saying, "Hey man, don't have sex at this age. Don't be, make sure you protect yourself." And what did we do when soon as she came through? And we ain't had no protection.
Got it cracking.
Is you make your own decisions. Even with parenting, you still gonna grow up to be your own person.
Yeah, but if you had a real good influence.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yo, the first
Like,
time I hit a
if
chick
we
raw,
ca-
bro,
if you
I was
catch
like
it,
23, bro.
if
I
you-
didn't play them games, bro.
if you catch it early enough
I was really strapping
and
up
you
for a
put the
while.
right
I
mentors and the
started
right,
out like that.
Yeah.
but I kind of agree with Spider though,
It's off the
because
porch.
there's some coaches that shouldn't really be coaching or mentoring some of these kids because they really don't have or possess the, I don't want to call it skill sets, but the
Human
right
behavior. A lot of
life
them
skills
understand
or the life
human
human
behavior.
behavior to guide or direct or lead these kids down the right path.
Yeah.
But they allow it because it's free. They're volunteering. They're not paying them anything. So it's almost like an extra body that can assist with the coaching staff. But maybe that's something that needs to be reevaluated.
So hear me out on this. This is kind of a frisbee for sure.
Yeah.
But the youth is in a lot of ways, not all the ways, and definitely not in the most important ways. But as far as like what's going on, what in the world, and like what's the youth most of the time, the smart ass attitude comes from feeling like you're smarter. You feel me?
Mhm.
I think most of the time they are smarter in a lot of ways, but they don't have more wisdom. They don't have more experience. You
Mhm.
feel me? When I say smarter, it's like not the total accumulation of knowledge, because obviously, you know what I'm saying. But
Right.
in the sense of what the world is currently seeing, and how it's being displayed and expressed and how created, and you get what I'm saying. Like they have their eyeballs on it all day. We're working.
Right.
You feel me? And I think in that way, they are smarter. And that's why they feel like they can react and do the things that they do. You feel what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy, but
No, I get what you.
it's
I
definitely
definitely get what you're going.
I
at.
hear you,
theory
but
of mine,
I feel
you know?
they
But
way
need-
more sorry,
it's
man.
respect though, man.
These kids can't even pull out a garbage can right now, bro.
It's
They some
respect.
sorry motherfuckers, man.
But I'm glad you said that, Brief. I think at some point there was a disconnect where there's a generation of parents who dropped the ball. Because if they can't take the garbage out, none of us was born knowing how to do that. At some point, you had to learn it. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like
Hold on. My mom never asked me to take the garbage out. I'm just being real.
But
Damn,
you know,
real?
I think I turned out okay. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And that's something I even tell her, because it affected previous relationships where I don't necessarily help with certain things because it's just not natural to me.
It
You get me?
affected you.
but it affected it.
It was
did.
affected.
No, it
though.
did affect me for sure. But I don't think it was. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I'm not saying that they didn't parent or raise the child right, but down to some of the stuff that, like with Brief and Bari is saying, some of the characteristics
Character.
where the parent steps in and set those, I guess I don't want to call them boundaries or whatever you want to call it. where the parent sets the tone. We use tone as the word, right? Where the parent sets the tone, like, look, no, there's a right and a wrong way to do everything. This how you do this. This how you do this. This how you handle adults, whatever the case may be. And I could be wrong when I'm saying that maybe it's a disconnect with the parents, but it's still something that shifted. Maybe it's just simply technology. It could be as simple as that. But however, because if you think about it, yeah, we're all here in our early 30s, mid 30s, whatever the case may be. But even maybe 2 to 3 generations after us, because I consider a generation every 4 years.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because like
You thinking about like 4 years of high school.
exactly. If we didn't go to school together, we're not in the same generation.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's just, I guess, the easiest way to simplify it.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, 4.
So now, 4 years removed, right? Or let's say 8 per se.
Mhm.
It's a huge difference from us 8 years removed and them. So now, how do we, I guess, detect it, or where do we go
So maybe
to?
the millennials dropped the ball.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Someone dropped the ball at some point.
The millennials, it's our fault. God damn it.
Or maybe it was the generation before y'all, but however, it's still, there's a disconnect because certain stuff should translate regardless if technology is a part of life or not. It's just characteristics. You get what I'm saying? It's just certain things that was embedded into you, right from wrong. Of course, you're going to fuck up. You're going to make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But certain things should have been checked and handled early on. So as you progress, as you grow, as you evolve, you understand. Like, you know, we've all had these moments where like, damn, now I see what my parents was talking about. Now I see whoop doo la da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
You acknowledge that later on as you grow, as you evolve, as your brain is forming or you're becoming a young man or a young woman, and you start having these flashbacks and you're like, okay, this is what they were talking about. Now I get it. Yeah. And then from there you build off of that and you move forward. What if that generation never got that information, so now they can't ever have that aha moment where they get it?
You know the best, I think that one of the best lessons my mom taught me, speaking up. I remember we went somewhere and there was a line and I was a kid. Really, she sent me in there. You know, that's another thing. You have to give your kids instructions.
Right.
Hey, take this coupon. It's a Popeyes coupons. You get 2 pieces of chicken, they'll give you a free fry. Take this with this $5, get in line, and go get this order. They sit in the car. One day I was taking too long. She come inside. I'm just sitting, I'm just kind of falling back. She said, let me teach you a lesson. She said, anytime you walk in an establishment, you need to speak. She said, ask that guy, is he in line? I said, you in line? He said, no, I ordered. She said, see there, you just standing here. You got to talk. You got to open your mouth. Mm-hmm. Just don't walk in the room and don't say anything. Yeah. And ever since then, I walk in, hey, you in line? You ordered? Even in a barbershop, she told me every time you walk in the barbershop, you always speak to everybody.
Yeah.
Always. Hey, how y'all doing? You hold a door. You see somebody walking out, walking in. If you get to that door first, you have to hold it. Take out the trash.
Yeah. And
for sure.
Like some of the, like, it's okay to tell your kids what to do. It's not a crime. Yeah, some of the most successful people that we have in the world were told what to do.
Facts.
Look at the president. His father laid the blueprint. This is what you're going to do. You're going to become a tycoon, an icon in real estate. And he became the president twice. Mm-hmm. Floyd, his father told him what to do. Venus and Serena Williams. Tiger Woods.
George W. Bush.
Like George W. Bush, his father groomed him to be a president.
So look what I do. My mom said, put an application at Florida Power and Light. Do it. And drove me to the whatever it was, I forgot the name of it, but yeah. The interview, yeah, all of that. No, you go do this. You fucking around, you graduated.
Change your life.
You win these streets, you ain't doing shit. Before you fuck up your record, I'm gonna make sure you get this job. And I got it. That's the power of parenting. And you
living like a rapper.
That's the power of parenting.
Yeah. And like you said, we just need.
You gotta tell these kids what to do.
You gotta tell them what to do. All that, they'll figure it out. I don't know what they want to do. Nah. Give them a task or something to do until they figure out what they want to do. all this time that's being wasted while them trying to figure out what they want to do. Nah, they could have been furthering themselves, picking up different life skills,
Things that
or
they want
just
to, yeah.
until they
Hey,
realize
Jit.
what they want to do.
CDL for 6 months, nigga. You can buy whatever you want.
Straight up, take your ass
Come on,
over
Just
the
take
road.
6 months. It's like boot camp.
Yeah.
It's like doing time.
Yeah,
And you
Take
get
them
to see
6
the world,
months,
too.
hit the road, come on back. You're
When
gonna
you
have
wanna
more money
travel,
than all your friends.
You want to travel, son? Here you go.
More money than all your friends. I promise you.
But,
You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
for
It's
sure.
simple, bro. You just gotta lay it out for them. I feel like it wasn't
But,
shit really
you know,
laid out for me. It was just like figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
But now you got the
Just because they didn't really know either. They were just hard
Yeah.
workers.
Mm-hmm.
You
yeah.
feel me?
Nah,
But
but
you say what? I'm
I
gonna work
mean,
hard, but I'm gonna
back
work
to
smarter.
the millennials, by the
go
way.
ahead.
We had Pretty Ricky, man. We was fucked from the jump.
Tripping.
I think Pretty Ricky came out what seventh grade, eighth,
Yeah, like
something like that.
Like
I was in high
seven,
school.
Like middle
when
so
it
school.
came
like
out. I was in high school.
I was in
like
high
oh,
school.
And then-
05, like 05.
Yeah, so in between
Nah, before that was before
Pretty
05.
Ricky,
They were like
and-
04.
Yeah, that was you about 05, 04, 05.
Cause 03, 04, that's Jeezy, Lil Wayne.
And when-
for
Yeah,
sure.
it was about 04, 05.
I think that single
What
dropped
year
in
Chief
04.
Keef
The
came
album
out?
dropped 05.
Chief Keef came out
Like
like
2012?
Yeah, like no, 2011 really.
2011.
Yeah.
So that's like 6-7 year difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That
I mean
drill.
Chief a legend.
Yeah.
Flowers to him. But I definitely think there was the birth
That
of drill.
Drill, yeah.
Change.
There
It
was the
definitely
birth.
changed.
And it's funny because no one takes notes. Chief Keef was hard. The music was great. He created a whole thing in Chicago. And he's been living in LA.
Yeah, he got out of there.
But he's chilling. He's living like a very
Well, he got banned too. He can't go back.
but he living comfortable.
Yeah, he got banned.
You know what
from
I'm
Chicago.
saying? And no one's taking anything from him or like at the end of the day, his story is what made him, but he also figured it out. And there's motherfuckers who watched him come up who still ain't figured it out, even after he figured it out.
Right.
It's like niggas got lost.
Yeah, crazy.
You
Crazy.
feel me?
I mean, they said he got banned, but when he went back for that concert like a year, 2 years ago, nigga, that shit was wall to wall.
Bro, because he's him for real.
Yeah.
And those bands
That's
don't
the
really mean
Godfather of
nothing,
drill.
man. Those bands don't really mean nothing.
And he's still young.
Niggas will
fuck.
say anything. You put a couple dollars in their pocket, yeah, boy, he good, come back. Like,
That's just
shit's
like
nonsense,
calling
bro.
people. Oh,
It
you
was
gonna
long
get
enough
canceled.
though.
Well, they said the
Yeah.
government banned him, like the city, like the
It was long enough though.
city banned
You
him.
feel
like
me?
the
And then
officials
remember after
say he can't
him,
go back.
Dirk kind of took the flag and
Yeah. So
now Dirk is a bigger artist than Chief
yeah.
than Chief was when he was up. You know,
I think it's because Chief also got a little comfortable. He became complacent once he actually
he was like
reached
16,
success.
17.
yeah.
No, meaning like his was like boom out the gate. Dirk had to grind a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
Dirk grinded
Yeah. He.
for sure. Yeah, man. So I just think a lot changed when Chief Keef came out and essentially took over the industry with drill. I think that's the biggest. 2011 is
Nah, a lot definitely changed because we always, I guess, culturally, New York was always the face of hip hop. Well, technically, it was the South at that
It
time.
kinda-
It was us.
it
It
went
was
back
us. It
and
was the
forth
South.
a little bit. West, South,
Yeah.
East. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everybody had their moment.
When I started hearing, I knew drill music was the thing, and it's damn near it's here to stay. Can't do nothing with it. When I started hearing the Pop Smokes and then the 5-Yo Yo Boy,
Mhm.
It's good shit, man.
and I was like, yeah, this
it's
shit
good
ain't going
music.
nowhere at all.
You could talk reckless and people can dance to it.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Bobby
Yeah.
Smurda was drill too.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
different
do.
form.
But
Yeah, that's definitely
So,
drill.
that's drill, right?
Chicago
so technically,
drill is-
Bobby was first.
Nah, Keith was first, bro.
No, outside of Chicago, as far as the New Yorkers.
Yeah, 'cause the New York
Bobby was
drill
Yeah,
is a
Bobby
whole
was
nother-
first.
The New York drill is a whole nother bag.
Yeah,
it's a
it's
whole
different
nother,
type.
like, micro genre within drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel
That's
me?
where the dancing come.
Yeah.
I knew something was crazy when I started hearing
Right.
Haitian rap drill. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? These niggas don't even speak
And then
English.
now you got sexy drill,
And the UK.
which is non-violent,
yeah.
which is actually what the girls love the most right now.
Okay.
That's what's his name? Cash Cobain and Bass Swag and guys like that.
Ice Spice.
Ice Spice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
fellas, at this point or at this juncture in our life, what do you I guess desire most, or I guess if you want to call it a craving, based on where you're at presently in your life right now? I give y'all a few if y'all want to between fame, wealth, peace, or love. It don't have to be one of those four, but like, what are you desiring or chasing? What means the most to you in life right now?
Peace and love for me. I think I am the most productive when I'm at peace. There's been time where I had money, but I wasn't happy with my situation. So technically, the money just went away. Really, uh, like I said, when I'm productive the most, I'm in my best version of myself is when I'm at peace with myself. That I look at the man in the mirror and understand that, like, hey, we got it today. Yesterday might have been something, but today we got it today. Move forward. And honestly, that's really how I've been going lately. It's hard, but at the same time, I got a peace of mind when I'm doing it. So, and everything comes together once you have that peace.
Where you at with it, brief?
Uh, my main aim in life right now is chasing this bag, bro. Not chasing it, but not even making money. Cause I don't like we can't make money. Only the government make money, but earning money, but securing that bag, bro. Everything else is given, man. You know, my kid and all of that. I'm gonna love him, raise him right. That money, bro. That's my main priority right now. Yeah,
Running
yeah,
it
yeah.
up.
No, running it the fuck up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ultimate freedom, bro. Yeah, that's it. That's all my mind on right now, bro. Yeah, it's stuck on my eyes on the prize, bro. Yeah, securing the big bag, and it's coming.
Yeah.
It really is already there, but more of it, and the more. What baby said, get greedy with this shit.
Yeah,
Stomach greedy. Throw up at the table. That much money. Yeah, yeah.
Word.
Yeah, securing that bag, bro.
Where you at with it, Spider?
Uh, I got a little bit of a mixture of things. I know you said one thing, but
No, you could.
it's like I think I play tug of war with myself a lot, just because you have instinct and then you have what you really want. It's two different things. So I think out of instinct, crave, I crave love. It's just natural. I can't help it. So I think a lot of the times because I crave it, I pretend not to want it. You feel me? Um, and that could be the reason why I have peace. You feel me? But I think the thing I want the most right now is structure. I think that's what I need the most right now. And so, because everything else will fall in place, but it's like the structure is everything. You feel me? Because if one thing falls apart, the whole building doesn't come down. It's just a repair and move on. So
I feel you.
I crave love, but I want structure, and I have peace.
But I'm okay. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I respect that.
What I desire most out of life right now, um, a lot of it a lot of things that I would say, I feel like I pretty much already have. So to me, it comes down to conquering the day, making the most of each day, because yesterday is already done. It's dead. There's nothing you could do about it. Whatever you wanted yesterday, desired is dead. You had 24 hours to master it. That's over with. Tomorrow is the future. You can project for the future, but you have to come back and live in the moment, in the present. It's conquering the day. From the moment you wake up, be more strategic about like, okay, what's the first thing I'm doing? What's the next thing? Okay, no more, I guess that lag time in between. Just get to it, knock shit out so you can progress more and just get to your goals or attain your ultimate destination. Because there's a lot that you could do in a day if you really, really hone in and focus and conquering that particular day. There's
Yeah,
so
that's a
much
lot.
that you can do.
That's a lot.
A lot of times we neglect it. We're like, yeah, we'll just deal with the tomorrow,
It's a good
brush it
point.
off.
That's a
Nah,
really good point.
conquer the day. Because tomorrow, what the fuck is it tomorrow? It's an illusion. It's not real. Yesterday's already dead. So think about it. If yesterday's dead, tomorrow's an illusion. You only have the present.
Yep.
Yeah, get to it.
Focus on the present. Then you can make tomorrow be your reality as far as what Brief is saying. Nigga throwing up at the table. Stupid bags. You get what I'm saying? But the way to get to that is conquering the day. Make the days count. Don't count
It's a
the
fact.
days.
Yeah, bro.
That's
Good
how you
point.
really get to it.
Fact.
Let's conclude with this, fellas. Mental health. I think it's very important that we speak on it as far as just being a man operating in America or living amongst one another. I think a lot of times as men we bottle or we keep a lot of stuff in. But as of late, if you pay attention to what's going on in the world, there's a lot of I guess men who are speaking up more and saying how they're dealing or struggling with the whole mental health aspect of things. Like yesterday, I woke up, I'm like, damn, mental health. That's one of the segments we have to speak on the pod. Two people I spoke with, mental health, mental. I'm like, okay, boom. That means it's a sign that we have to speak on it because there has to be someone out there that's probably struggling or dealing with something that may need this segment from us. So
Yeah. I think
let's speak on it.
most people don't notice. Most people don't recognize mental health until they hear it. So it's like we wake up and we deal with the pressures of life every day, right? And even shit, we've known about uh mental health for a long time, and like even now, sometimes when niggas wake up on a bad day, we forget that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're not even processing the fact that it's just okay. You have to take care of your mind. I was struggling with it today. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take care of your mind because if you don't stop to think, okay, wait, this don't feel right. My like, I just woke up with like this fucked up mood. Like, you know what I'm saying? I woke up in the middle of the night with tears in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just strange, bro.
Right.
I'm like, damn, what is it? Like, what's going on? You feel me?
Self check.
And I just stayed in the bed for an extra 30 minutes to get my mind together before I left. You feel me? So it's just, you got to pay attention to how you feel and try to discover why you feel that way.
Same. I think when I first really, like you said, pressure, I was dealing with pressure for many, many years. And it took, you know, just thinking about like what transpired this weekend with Kyron Lacey committing suicide. Most of you guys know, but around the same time, right before the draft, my best friend, my roommate, committed suicide. Had an opportunity to go to the league as well. He committed suicide. After that, that's when I really started to pay attention to mental health. Because at that point, I didn't know what to do with myself at that point. I'm getting ready, I'm training, I'm talking to these NFL coaches, and something like that just happened. You thinking that person is technically in good space, in good spirits at that time. We getting ready to live the dream that we wanted to live, and he was dealing with something way stronger than what I thought I was dealing with. So when they say check up on your people, see how they doing, that shit real. It's really real. Like you really never know. Like you said, tomorrow ain't promised. It really not. So I thought I was gonna see that person or talk to that person tomorrow. I didn't have that opportunity. So now when I say mental health, I make sure I try to check up on people. I always show love as much as possible with the time I do have because you never know what somebody really going through in their life. And he was the person that made me identify what it truly meant to focus on mental health for myself and also for the people that I care about. So, you guys out there watching this YouTube channel, check your mental health with yourself, but also others around you. You know what I'm saying? Because we all deal with things and we all don't speak up all the time. So it would be good to just check at least you can live with that understanding, saying, you know what, I I know where he was coming from. I know what's going on. I try to play a part of helping, and if a person commits suicide, then hey, you understand though. So that's how I look at it though, bro.
Right.
RIP to everybody who commits suicide. I think it's really tough right now for a lot of people because they chasing something that they feel like they can't get. So
What you got, Brief?
I believe if you're a human being, you at some point you go deal with some mental health issues. Just living in the world, like you go deal with mental health issues. At some point, something is going to affect you or throw you off your square mentally. But I think what's more important, get help, but you got to be careful how you deal with people in the world because you don't know how other people mentals are,
Mm-hmm.
and you can cross path with the devil. They mental may not be right. Snap your neck, shoot you, slice you, stab you, violate you because they mental not right. So you got to be a man of respect. Uh, just be courteous when you in the world. I'm gonna just say that because you never know what people mental at. You honking the horn, bitch, get out the road. They just snap on you. We see it all the time, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
we
What's
do.
that? That's not a form of mental
It is.
some mental health issues. I don't care how many times a person blow or say you shouldn't be getting out your car. You shouldn't snap like that. But we do. So just be mindful how you talking and dealing with people. Yeah.
For me, mental health. It's absolutely real. It exists. And I believe, of course, like Brief said, we've all experienced it at some point of our life, and we're probably experiencing it in the present moment. And like you said, sometimes we don't recognize what it is. But I think a lot of it goes back to the conditions that we were raised under or raised up in. Like it programmed us to operate from a space of survival. So even when we're dealing with depression, we don't even know how to identify it until it's, probably in some instances too late, which kind of goes back to what I was saying about conquering the day. No matter what happens in the day, I always tell myself, I don't have bad days. I had a bad moment. Just trying to master everything that comes with that. It's just like depression, for example, right? Coming up with how we came up, depression is a luxury that none of us have the privilege to even partake in. So that's another form of suppressing, which can essentially lead to mental health or maybe vice versa, whatever the case may be. So it's important that you treat people right, be mindful. You get what I'm saying? Because you never really know what they're dealing with or got going on, and just check yourself. It's okay for you to take some time off to really work on yourself and figure out what it is that you're dealing with or what it is that is causing I guess you to feel however it is that you're feeling. Because sometimes it could be something that you're having I guess a
It'd be
flashback
trauma.
moment of from
Trauma.
when you were a kid, trauma. And then you're like, damn, in that moment it frustrates you, pisses you off, puts you in a bad mood, or it puts you into that, you dive into that rabbit hole, into, I don't want to say depression, but the whole mental health issues or whatever case may be. So if you need the help, get the help.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel like you need the help or you don't know you need the help, then it's, I guess, on the others that's around you to make sure that they pay attention to you and make sure that you're not, I guess, going off the grid, to identify it. And when someone presents it to you, don't just shoot it down, consider it, because they're pointing out something that clearly you don't see, you know? So it's definitely real to exist. Just, check in on yourself and I guess rely on the others that you're dealing with day to day. If they tell you need to take some break, take some time out for yourself, then trust their judgment, because it may lead or it's a spiral into something else that can potentially lead to you, I guess, checking out, taking your life, or doing something
Yeah.
that you can't go back from.
But let me say this real quick. and not to be like disrespectful to the people that have gone through depression. Sometimes a little depression is good. For me, sometimes when I'm down, I don't know if I really been depressed. Like, let me say that I've been depressed before. I don't know if I had depression, but the feeling what I think the depression is, I kind of like that feeling. It put the battery in my back. It get me a little motivated. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I do. Sometimes when I'm just living in perfect harmony and shit just so good, I lose that fire. I like when my back against the wall a little bit. I lose something. I gotta crawl back. I gotta get back on top. I kind of, in a way, uh, I don't know. It just recharged me. It gave me something to strive for a little bit in a sick way. I maybe not explaining it right,
Nah, you
but I think y'all understand what I'm
yeah,
saying.
the pressure, like pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
that
it's
pressure. It's
pressure.
like, let me get to it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I think
But it's definitely not healthy for you because
yeah,
anytime you depress for a long period of time, that causes disease. That's just scientific. That's just science. That's just science. It is what it
exactly.
is.
For
So
sure.
Because your brain,
that's a
you
lower
know,
state. That's a low state. And you definitely don't want to live in that state.
you got
But it exists only because we got to go through it. God created this. Why God created depression? Why, God? Why you want a nigga to feel bad sometimes? I don't know, but it's a purpose behind it.
to understand joy.
Exact. There you go. There you
That's
go right there.
understand joy.
Understand joy. You just hit it. There you go right
Like you
there.
said,
Yeah, you just hit it.
like they say, God tested, like you're a testimony. So when you look at life, you will be tested. And some people get tested differently than others. Your story might be harder than my story. My story might be harder than his story. But at the same time, who are you after that? What's your plans to do after you go through that? And that's what you talking about. That pressure that you're going through. It's a testimony. Look at your shirt. Look at your shoes. Look at your outfit. Testimony.
Fact, no
And
story, no glory.
and some people just like Spider. Spider got this going on, that going on. You know what I'm saying? Loved by many. They probably don't understand some days. Shoot, man, today might be that day.
Yeah.
But
And now that you say that,
yeah,
I don't do I don't like to project negativity. So I don't very often uh I don't think talking is projecting. I think that people could project when they post. They could project when they shoot videos. You feel me? So a lot of people do see the fruits growing on my tree. You know what I'm saying? But they don't see me going out there to water it every day.
right.
You feel me? And I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's just something that I don't really give the world my bad days. I don't show it to them. You know, or my bad moods. I just don't. I don't believe in that and projecting that to other people and letting people know that you feeling this way, publicly.
Yeah.
You know, so
But
Real quick, you
that's
know
what
my
the internet
secret now
for
though?
though.
What's the secret?
That's what the internet for.
You tell you my secret now. Everything in life, I just look at it as a play, like it's a game. I take nothing personal no more. I get in a car accident. This is a joke. This supposed to happen. I laugh at it. Everything is play. When your head mentally, when you look at things or events as play, it's never even work.
damn,
Look at work.
I like that one.
Look at work as play.
It's just GTA.
GTA, you gotta look at life like that.
I like that.
No, for
I'm
real.
taking that one
And
home
then
with me.
life it start playing with you.
You gotta watch that movie,
Yeah,
Gubby.
I could see that working.
Everything is play.
'Cause
Just
I
look
think
at
there's
everything as
moments
play.
where I just sat there and I was like, yo, these people done lost their fucking mind.
And
And
you
I'm
laugh it
laughing
off.
like,
Exactly. Just look at life
y'all
like play.
crazy.
Just look at it as a play, bro. That's it. Life is a game, bro.
Word.
I think Brief just ended it saying life is a game. So we conclude with that. Hold on, before we conclude, let me shout out the supporter fan of the week.
Mhm.
Shout out to J Star. That's JAISTARR. She be in the comment section lighting that shit up. Beef, I
Yeah.
saw you interacting with it today too.
Star, you official.
Okay.
Yeah, she be showing us mad
You
love.
official.
J
Okay.
Star, JAISTARR.
We appreciate you, Star.
Yeah,
For
shout
sure.
out
Keep
to the-
showing us love,
For
you
sure,
know.
Ski.
And we got a lot of stuff going down in the pipeline or coming down in the pipeline. So don't think that everything that you're doing is just happening in vain. We're taking notes, we're watching. And as we put these events and stuff like that together, there will be certain perks for our day one loyal supporters,
For sure.
fans, followers, however you want to identify yourself. And with that being said, we out of here, fellas. This
Yes,
was a
sir.
good one.
Yeah.
Anything
Good vibes.
I
You know
want
what?
to give the people
I
anything
think-
to take home?
I want to add something, man.
Go ahead.
We need to start giving ourselves a round of applause after the show. So everybody clap it up. We did a great job.
Good job.
For episode 25.
Shout out to the
Episode
team.
20
Yeah.
It's thousands of podcasts who ain't make it to episode 25. So let's
Yeah.
keep doing what we're doing. And good job to
To
all my
everybody.
brothers, man.
Yeah.
Nah, for sure.
Everybody.
Can we do another round of applause for production?
Hell yeah.
Most
Shout out to
def.
Riz, shout out to Peace.
Hey.
We appreciate y'all, most definitely.
Definitely.
With that being said, Growth Power Success Podcast, episode 25 in the books. Thank y'all for tuning in, tapping in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on every platform, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. It's the same thing, Growth Power Success Podcast. With that being said, we are out of here.
Ew.
Peace.
Gone.